Aries. If lately you've been seeing repeating numbers over and over again, on the clock, on receipts, or suddenly appearing in front of you during very private, quiet moments, pause it for a second. This may not be a coincidence. In astrology, especially for Aries, the zodiac sign ruled by Mars, repeating signs often show up when the soul is being awakened by a sacred connection. And it's possible that your late father is trying to reach you in the only way the universe allows. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to understand why those numbers have been appearing, how they connect to your financial path, your life purpose, and the road Aries was destined to walk. If your heart feels this connection, type in the comments, "I open myself to receive the sacred message meant for me." That's not just a sentence. It's how Aries aligns with the energy guiding you forward. And if this speaks to you, please like and share, so this message can reach other Aries souls who may need it right now. Now, let's go deeper. Let's step into the astrological foundation of Aries, where every sign begins to make sense, clearly and powerfully. Aries. When we talk about you in astrology, we're talking about the very beginning of the zodiac wheel. Aries is the first sign, the symbol of birth, the first heartbeat of a new cosmic cycle. In every journey, someone has to go first. And that energy is you. It's not random that Aries opens the zodiac. You hold the position of the pioneer, the one willing to walk into territory no one else has touched. You are ruled by Mars, the planet of action, willpower, and survival instinct. Mars doesn't only represent battle, it represents protection. Protection of family, protection of honor, protection of what you believe is right. When Mars energy is strong in an Aries birth chart, it creates a personality that is decisive, resilient, and not easily defeated by hardship. But behind that intensity is a fiercely loyal heart. As a fire sign, you carry raw life force within you. Fire can burn wildly, but it can also warm a home and light the way for others. People often call Aries impulsive. What they don't always see is your ability to rise again after falling. You may stumble, but you rarely stay down for long. The flame inside you always finds a way to rise again. Because you are the first sign of the zodiac, your life often moves in cycles of rebirth, sudden pivots, bold decisions, turning points others may call reckless. But they are simply reflections of your pioneering spirit. You were never meant to follow worn-out paths. You were born to create new ones. In astrology, the image of the father is often connected to the sun, the symbol of identity, light, and direction. When the sun's energy combines with Mars in an Aries chart, it creates a powerful drive to prove yourself. Many Aries grow up feeling they must excel, be strong, be capable, be enough. That drive can come from memories of a father figure, from strict expectations, from silence, or even from the absence he left behind. Many Aries become the strong one in the room, the decision maker, the one who speaks up, the one who acts when the window of opportunity is only open for a moment. But in all that strength, have you ever asked yourself, who sees your vulnerability? Who understands that behind your resilience, there may be long nights of quiet overthinking that no one ever witnesses? Mars energy makes you react quickly to life. You don't like waiting, you don't sit still for long. But when it comes to deep emotion, especially anything connected to family or your father, Aries often goes silent. Not because you don't care, but because it's hard to put those feelings into words. Your fire is more comfortable with action than confession. When a father leaves this world, the connection doesn't simply end. In astrology, ancestral energy continues to influence your chart through generational planets, through karmic points like the North Node and South Node. For Aries, activations involving Mars, the Sun, or the fourth house, the house of family, can awaken powerful memories and emotions. It might come through dreams, through sudden intuition, through repeating signs in everyday life. You may have told yourself you're fine, that the past is the past, that you don't need any more explanations. But sometimes, the strongest souls carry the quietest unanswered questions. Have you ever wished you could hear one more word of encouragement? Have you ever wanted to share an achievement, but realized the person you hoped would hear it is no longer here the way they once were? Aries often seeks recognition through action and achievement. When you accomplish something, you don't just see the material result. You feel your worth being validated. This is deeply connected to the Mars-Sun dynamic in your birth chart. When these two energies are in harmony, you shine naturally, effortlessly, confident without forcing it. But when there's tension between them, you may throw yourself into success. As a way to fill an emotional gap you can't quite name, you achieve more, push harder, move faster. Not always because you want more, but because you don't want to feel what's underneath. And yet, the real strength of Aries isn't just in how fast you move forward, it's in your ability to pause long enough to understand what is driving you. When you allow yourself to feel, instead of only act, the fire inside you changes. It becomes steadier, not a flame that flares up and burns out, but a steady fire, strong enough to light a long road ahead. There are seasons when Saturn places pressure on your Sunday, and during those times, you may feel tested in responsibility, tested in identity, tested in the roles you carry. You might feel like you're being asked to grow up faster than you expected, but it's in those exact seasons that you discover something deeper within yourself. A part of you that doesn't only know how to fight, but also knows how to love. A part of you that doesn't only know how to win, but knows how to forgive. If lately you've felt a strange inner pull, an old memory resurfacing without warning, or a quiet sense that something is waiting to be understood, listen. For Aries, intuition strikes like lightning. The real question is, are you still long enough to notice it? Ask yourself gently, what about me today makes me most proud? Not compared to anyone else, not measured against the world. Just you. What have you survived that few people know about? How many times have you stood back up without an audience? Those qualities, resilience, honesty, the courage to begin again, that is the true inheritance you carry. If something in these words reflects your heart, leave this comment. I am ready to understand my strength more deeply. When you write that, you're not speaking to me, you're speaking to yourself. You're signaling that this isn't random curiosity, it's growth. And if you know an Aries who carries more than they show, share this with them. Sometimes a pioneer doesn't need another push forward. Sometimes they just need to be seen. But this is only the first layer, because when the inner fire of Aries begins to awaken, external signs often appear at the same time. Repeating numbers, strange synchronicities, moments that seem accidental, yet feel deeply familiar. Where astrology and numerology intersect, these signals may hold more meaning than you think. What is hidden behind those numbers? Why do they appear right when you begin thinking more about family, about your father, about your values, about the direction of your life? In the next part, we step into the language of numbers and how they connect directly to Aries energy in your chart. There are moments in life when Aries suddenly pauses in the middle of a busy day and glances at the clock. Shaid and Shaifan. Another afternoon. A receipt shows 444. Then one day, the license plate in front of you reads 818. The numbers don't shout. They don't demand. They simply appear. Quietly. Repeatedly. Enough times that you begin to wonder, is something trying to speak? In astrology and spiritual tradition, nothing truly operates in isolation. Numerology isn't separate from the planets. Each number carries a vibration. Each planet carries one too. When those vibrations intersect, they create a silent language. The soul can feel, even when the mind resists. For Aries, the most powerful number is 1. 1 is the beginning, the pioneer, the individual who steps forward alone. 1 carries Mars energy. It doesn't wait for permission. It represents pure will. If you keep seeing 1, or sequences like 111, or Etusine Oti, it may be reminding you of who you are at your core. You were born to lead, not to doubt yourself. But the soul's journey isn't only about beginnings, it's also about completion. And that's where the number 9 appears. In numerology, 9 represents the end of a cycle, the wisdom gained after many lessons. It carries compassion, release, when someone who has passed wants to send a sense of peace. 9 often shows up gently, not to end love, but to confirm. The circle is complete. If you've been seeing 9, or 911, something within you may be closing, not disappearing, transforming. It could be unspoken regret, lingering responsibility, words never said, And in that transformation, there is comfort. Nothing truly disappears when it is placed in love. Then there is 4. 4 speaks of foundation, family, structure. In astrology, it connects to the 4th house, roots, home, the father in many cases. The energy of 4 is steady, grounded. If you see 4, it often signals protection, a reminder of the foundation that shaped you. There are values inside you may not always name, but they came from family, from your father, from lessons absorbed quietly over time. In many spiritual traditions, 444 is seen as a sign of divine protection. It doesn't have to mean something supernatural. Sometimes, it's simply your mind being reassured that you are on the right path, that even if the road ahead is challenging, you are not walking it alone. For Aries, the Zodiac's natural pioneer, this reminder matters deeply, because those who lead the way often forget they deserve protection too. And then there is the number 8. When turned on its side, 8 becomes the symbol of infinity. It represents the continuous flow of material and spiritual energy. In astrology, 8 is often linked to Saturn, the planet of discipline, responsibility, and karmic law. Saturn doesn't hand out easy rewards, but it always honors perseverance. When you begin seeing 8, or 818, repeating, it may signal that a new financial cycle is forming, not as a miracle falling from the sky, but as the result of quiet effort you've already invested. 818 carries both beginning and completion, an 8 on each side, holding a 1 inch the center, as if the universe is saying, step into your new chapter with courage. But remember, every action moves within the circle of cause and effect. For Aries, this is both gentle and direct. Ambition is natural for you, but sustainability is what builds lasting success. And then there is 1111, the sequence that makes so many people pause, even if only for a few seconds. In mystical tradition, 11 is known as a master number, connected to intuition and awakening. When 11 appears repeatedly, it's like a doorway opening between the visible world and the deeper realm of feeling. 1111 doesn't force belief. It simply asks, are you listening? For Aries, who often acts faster than you think, 1111 can be an invitation to slow down, to breathe, to feel what your heart is quietly saying. Not every sign demands immediate action. Some messages need to settle in stillness. When numbers begin appearing at the same time you're thinking about your late father, it can feel confusing, but through the lens of astrology, this is often when energetic layers intersect. The sun, symbol of the father and of your identity, may be receiving pressure from slower planets like Saturn or Pluto. These movements stir memory. They surface what was buried. The numbers become a bridge between emotion and awareness. Your father may no longer speak in words, but love never disappears. It changes form. It may show up as sudden intuition. When you're facing an important decision, it may show up as an unexplainable warmth. When you notice a familiar sequence of numbers, it may show up as the quiet strength that keeps you going. When you feel exhausted, sometimes the message isn't meant to frighten you. Not a warning, not a prediction of something bad, but a reminder. You are not alone. For Aries, who is always ready to step forward, that reminder carries special weight. You are strong, but you also deserve support. You are a pioneer, but you also deserve love. If these numbers have been appearing in your life, try writing them down. You don't need to overanalyze. Just observe. When do they show up? Before a decision? After one? On days you feel confident? Or on nights you lie awake thinking? Repetition carries rhythm, and rhythm can reveal the cycle you are stepping into. You may be standing at the edge of something new, financially, professionally, or in how you value yourself. 8 and 818 may point to shifts in money flow. 4 may remind you to strengthen your foundation before you move further. 1 calls you to begin boldly. 9 whispers that it's time to release what no longer fits. Ask yourself quietly, what in my life needs to close so something else can open? What am I still carrying out of habit, even though my heart knows it doesn't belong anymore? When you answer honestly, the numbers stop feeling mysterious. They become markers on your inner map. If you've ever seen 1111 and made a wish. That wish may not have been random. It may have been connected to your desire for recognition, for peace, for success, without losing yourself. For Aries, your financial journey and your spiritual journey are not separate. When you truly understand your worth, the way you earn money and the way you use it begins to change. If these words resonate with you, leave this comment. I am listening, and I trust the divine guidance unfolding in my life. When you write that, you're making a quiet decision. You're choosing not to dismiss the signs as meaningless coincidence. You're choosing openness over doubt. And if you know an Aries who feels unsettled by recent changes, share this message with them. Sometimes, what we need most is not an immediate answer, but reassurance that something deeper is moving beneath the surface. But this still isn't the full picture, because when numbers begin appearing alongside shifts in career and finances, they often signal a turning point. What is waiting for you in your material world? How are the vibrations of Saturn and Jupiter influencing Aries' financial destiny right now? In the next part, we move into the connection between money and fate, where numbers are not only spiritual signs, but doorways into your next chapter. When numbers start appearing, at the same time you're questioning your self-worth, your future, your direction, it's rarely just emotional coincidence. For Aries, financial energy is rarely separate from personal growth. Money is not just currency for you. It represents capability, independence, the ability to stand on your own 2 feet, without depending on anyone else. In astrology, when Jupiter forms a supportive angle to your Aries sun, a door often opens. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, opportunity, and faith, amplifies whatever it touches. When it harmonizes with your core identity, it's like a wind filling your sails. Financial opportunities may show up in many forms. A collaboration offerte, a business idea that suddenly feels viable, a promotion that expands your influence. But here's what's important. Opportunity is rarely random. It often arrives after a period of deep self-reflection. You may have doubted yourself, questioned your current path, wondered if you were truly aligned. And then, when you finally admit you deserve more, Jupiter moves in your favor, almost as if the universe responds, not with words, but with action. Aries is used to creating opportunities. You don't wait long, but in this new cycle, opportunities may arrive more gently, less dramatic, less combative. Instead of fighting for every step, you may begin to notice what belongs to you, finding its way toward you. This doesn't diminish your effort. It means you're stepping into a more mature relationship with money. Still, we cannot talk about finances without speaking of Saturn. If Jupiter expands, Saturn contracts. To teach discipline, Saturn doesn't grant easy rewards. It demands responsibility, planning, patience. When Saturn pressures key points in your Aries chart, you may feel restricted. Cash flow slows. Results take longer. Impulsive financial decisions that once felt exciting may now carry consequences. But in that slowdown, there is a lesson many people never fully grasp. Money isn't just income, it's energy. Every dollar you earn is time, focus, life force. When you spend unconsciously, you're not just losing money, you're leaking energy. When you invest intentionally, you're planting seeds. There are seasons when Aries earns quickly, through bold risk, and there are seasons when patience becomes your teacher. Saturn does not arrive to punish you. It arrives to strengthen your foundation. If finances have felt heavier lately, this may not be loss. It may be restructuring, preparing you for something more sustainable. And then there is the North Node, the point of destiny, in your birth chart. When the North Node activates your first house, the house of self, something awakens. You begin to ask different questions. Who am I becoming? What truly reflects me? What do I want to be known for? When destiny energy touches your identity, you can no longer live only by other people's expectations. And this awakening often changes your financial path. You may leave a stable job that no longer inspires you. You may launch something of your own. Even if the outcome is uncertain, it can feel terrifying, but it also reignites that familiar Aries fire, the fire that comes alive when you stand at the edge of a new beginning. Money falling from the sky is rarely sustainable, but opportunities can sit in front of you for years, waiting for you to believe you're worthy of them. Family values, ancestral influence, work ethic passed down quietly. These shape how you define success. If you grew up in an environment where hard work and honor mattered, those values still guide your decisions today. Perhaps you once missed an opportunity because you doubted yourself. Perhaps you hesitated because you feared the risk. But as planetary cycles shift, you begin to see old choices with new perspective, not with regret, with understanding. Every step prepared you for a more mature version of yourself. In the end, money is a tool. It magnifies who you already are. If you lack confidence, more money may not bring peace. If you know your worth, even small progress can feel deeply fulfilling. For Aries, the real question isn't just how much you earn, it's who you are becoming in the process. Maybe right now, you're standing in front of a major financial decision, an investment, a career shift, a project that asks you to bet on yourself. You can feel the potential, but you can also feel the fear creeping in. That's completely human. Every meaningful transformation comes with uncertainty. Try stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Jupiter is encouraging expansion. Saturn is asking for preparation. The North Node is pulling you toward your authentic path. When those three energies move together in the same season of your life, it often signals a turning point. Not a loud, dramatic one, but a quiet, deep, irreversible shift. Ask yourself honestly, does this decision reflect the person I am becoming? Does it move me closer to a version of myself that is more mature, more responsible, and more free? If the answer is yes, you may already be walking in the right direction, even if the full road isn't visible yet. If you feel like you're standing at the edge of a financial shift, leave this comment: I am ready to step into a new cycle of prosperity. When you write that, you're telling yourself that fear is no longer your leader. Faith and preparation are your foundation now. And if you know an Aries struggling with a financial choice, share this message. Sometimes, what a pioneer needs is not pressure, but a reminder that they are capable of deciding for themselves. But money isn't only about numbers and opportunity, it's about something deeper: fulfillment. When you begin earning in ways that align with your inner values, you're not just building wealth, you're building self-respect. When you spend with intention, you're not just buying things, you're shaping your life. A new cycle may not arrive with fireworks, it may arrive through a quiet shift in how you see money, from seeing it as the goal to seeing it as a tool, from chasing it to prove yourself to using it to serve something greater. And this is where the story deepens, because when the way you see money changes, the way you see yourself changes too. When you realize your worth is not fully measured by your bank account, you begin searching for deeper meaning. What drives you beyond ambition? What is waiting to be uncovered beneath practical decisions? In the next chapter, we move into the spiritual depth of this journey, where money, memories of your father, and your Aries identity blend into one unified current. And you may discover that this new cycle is not just about material wealth, but about a full awakening of the soul. There are things in life that never get spoken in time. And sometimes, what weighs on the heart isn't the goodbye itself, but the words never heard. Aries, if you're still listening, the image of your late father has likely surfaced more than once. Not only in vivid memories, but in ordinary moments. When you achieve something new, when you stand before a difficult choice, when you're exhausted, but still pretending to be strong. In many American faith traditions, family love is seen as a sacred gift from God. Life doesn't end when the body does. Love is not buried by time, it continues. Quieter, deeper. And if there is one thing your father would want you to understand, it may not be a warning, it may be comfort. Perhaps the first thing he would want you to know is this: forgive yourself. Aries sets high standards. You are rarely satisfied with yourself. You can accomplish what others admire and still remember every time you fell short, the time you lost your temper, the words you wish you hadn't said. the moment you missed, to be closer to him. And deep down, you may have judged yourself longer than anyone else ever did. But if he could stand in front of you now, he likely wouldn't count your mistakes. He wouldn't list your failures. He might simply look at you and say, "You did the best you could." Some fathers weren't raised to say, "I love you." Some men grew up in generations where emotion was mistaken for weakness. They showed love through responsibility, through sacrifice, through showing up to work, even when exhausted. And sometimes, because they didn't know how to say it, they left this world without ever saying, "I'm proud of you." But silence does not mean absence of feeling. Aries, you carry Mars fire within you. You are bold, determined, willing to walk where others hesitate. But beneath that strength is a heart that longs to be seen. Perhaps what your father regrets most is not telling you how proud he truly was, not telling you that he saw your effort, not telling you that he understood the burdens you carried quietly. If you've ever wished to hear those words just once more, allow yourself to feel that longing. Don't push it away, because in acknowledging it, healing begins. The second message he might want you to hear is this: do not be afraid to fail. Aries doesn't fear beginnings, but sometimes you fear failure more than you admit. Not because you are weak, but because you fear disappointing someone, failing expectations, making sacrifices feel meaningless. But failure does not erase your value. It is part of growth. In Christian faith, we are taught that we are imperfect, and in that imperfection, grace exists. You do not have to win every battle to be worthy of love. Your father likely stumbled more times than you ever knew. He likely doubted himself too, but he stood up. And if he could send you one message, it might be this: don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fall. Just don't give up on yourself. And perhaps the third message is the simplest of all. Take care of your family. Success rises and falls. Money increases and decreases. Reputation shifts. But family, imperfect as it may be, remains the place your soul returns when it's tired. For Aries, who often places ambition first, this reminder matters more than you think. You may be busy building your career, chasing your dreams, proving what you're capable of, but don't forget the people who were there before you achieved anything. Call your mother, hold your children, say "I love you" while you still can. Not because you're soft, but because you are strong enough to love out loud. Society often teaches men to be tough, to be silent, to endure. But a strong man is not the one who never cries. A strong man is the one who dares to love, who dares to apologize, who dares to say, "I'm proud of you," before it's too late. If you are a father, or will become one someday, this may be your chance to do it differently, to speak what a previous generation kept inside, to build a legacy, not only through achievement, but through loving presence. Aries, you are not only a warrior, you are a keeper of the flame. Fire is not only for battle, fire is for warmth. And when you allow your heart to soften, you don't lose your strength, you expand it. If this touches you, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do I need to forgive myself for? What do I need to say to my family? While there is still time, you can write in the comments, "I choose to love while I still can." That's not just a sentence, it's a commitment to your own soul. And if you know an Aries quietly carrying unnamed pain, share this message. They may not say it, but they need to hear. They are not alone. This journey isn't only about memory, it's about awakening the heart. When you reconcile the image of your father within your mind, you don't just heal the past, you release energy for the future. You step into the next chapter, either no longer carrying unspoken words is a burden. But the story doesn't end here, because when the heart opens, the true power of Aries rises in a different way. Not the power of confrontation, the power of awareness. Not the power to prove, the power to serve something greater than yourself. In the next part, we step into how to fully activate Aries' strength, a flame refined by love, ready to move forward with steady faith and an open heart. There comes a moment in every Aries journey when you realize The signs were never meant for you to sit and think forever. They appear, so you stand up, so you move, so you do what your soul has known for a long time. You've seen the numbers, you've felt the memory of your father, you've moved through deep emotion, and understood that love never disappears. Now, it's time for your fire to activate more clearly, not just to feel, but to act. Aries is a fire sign. Fire, when contained in a fireplace, warms a home, but when directed with purpose, it can move an entire train forward. You were not born to stay frozen in reflection. You were born to turn emotion into movement. In action-oriented astrology, there are moments when the universe supports you more strongly than usual. When the moon moves through fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, your emotions ignite, your intuition sharpens, your courage rise. If you want to write new goals, set new intentions, do it during those days, not out of superstition, but because you will feel internal alignment more clearly. Try something simple. When the moon is in a fire sign, sit down, turn off your phone, write 3 things you truly want to accomplish in the next 6 months. Not what others expect, not what makes you look impressive, but what makes your heart come alive. Write it by hand, feel every word. When you write, you send a signal to your subconscious. I am ready. And then there is Mars, your ruling planet. When Mars moves direct, your action energy flows freely. You hesitate less. Doubt weakens. This is the time to launch the project, start the plan, take the step you've been postponing. Aries doesn't need constant motivation. You just need the right spark at the right time. When Mars moves forward, that spark intensifies. But remember this, the universe may open doors you still have to reach. For the handler, maybe you're considering a career change. Maybe there's an idea you've been holding on to for years. Maybe you simply want to live more honestly with your values. Don't wait for a perfect sign. Sometimes perfection is the moment you decide to stop delaying. Sunday carries the energy of the sun, identity, light, faith. No matter your tradition, Sunday is often a day for rest, prayer, reflection. Use it, pray, meditate, sit quietly, and give thanks. When you connect with the light within you, you recharge your soul. And a recharged Aries is not impulsive, it's intentionnel. You've moved through the memory of your father. You've heard the message about forgiveness, love, responsibility. Now ask yourself, what will I do with this understanding? Aries was not born to wait for signs. You were born to become one. When you live aligned with your light, you inspire without trying. When you dare to begin again, you show others that beginning again is not failure. When you love openly, you redefine strength for the next generation. Maybe in the past, you acted to prove something. In this new cycle, you can act from clarity, not from pressure, not from fear of being left behind, but because you know you deserve a fuller life. Look again at the numbers. 1 calls you to begin, 4 reminds you to build foundation, 8 points to material flow, 9 signals completion. All of them lead to one truth: conscious action. If you're still hesitating, remember this: confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. Each small step strengthens your trust in yourself. Little by little, a stronger version of you emerges. You may not see the entire path yet, but you don't need to. You only need enough light for the next step. Ask yourself right now, what am I postponing? What do I know I should do, yet I keep finding reasons to wait? The answer may not feel comfortable, but it will be honest. And Aries, you respect honesty. If you feel like you're standing at the edge of a new version of yourself, write this in the comments: I am ready to act for my future. When you type those words, you're not speaking to strangers, you're speaking to yourself. And if you know an Aries who has been waiting too long for a fresh beginning, share this message with them. Sometimes what a pioneer needs is not more information, but a reminder that the fire inside them is still burning. The old cycle is closing, a new one is opening. The signs have appeared, the heart has been steered. Now there is only one question left. Are you ready to step into the strongest version of yourself? And now, as we come to the final moments of this journey, pause and take a deep breath. You've moved through the signs. You've reflected on the numbers. You've touched the memory of your father. You've faced emotion, money, responsibility, love. None of it was meant to confuse you. It was meant to wake you up. The numbers are signals. Your father is spiritual motivation, but the choice has always been yours. Destiny is not a chain. It is a door. And that door does not open itself. It waits for your hand on the handle. If you heard this today, it may not be accidental. Maybe you are ready to release self-blame, ready to forgive yourself, ready to move forward without carrying unspoken words. As wait, your father may no longer be here physically, but his love has never disappeared. It lives in your resilience, in the way you refuse to quit, in the way you stand back up on the hardest days. And if there is one final thing I want you to remember, it's this: you are stronger than you think. Not because you've never been hurt, but because you have been hurt, and you still chose to love. Aries. Destiny is knocking. Not loudly, not forcefully, just a quiet knock. Clear enough. If you truly listen, write this in the comments. I am ready to walk the path that love and light are guiding me toward. That's not just a sentence. It's a declaración. You are choosing to live consciously, to act with faith, to move not only from ambition, but from meaning. When you write that, you open the door for blessing, for guidance, for divine alignment to enter your life. If this video touched your heart, even a little, please like it, share it. Let this message reach other Aries who carry more than they show, who appear strong to the world, but sometimes need to be understood. Thank you for staying until the very end. Thank you for allowing yourself to feel. Thank you for not turning away from your own heart. This journey doesn't end here. It begins with the decision you make after this video ends. And remember, the fire inside you has never gone out. It has only been waiting for you to breathe into it once more.